While TLC's My 600-Pound Life can be a life-changing, positive experience for many people, several of the contestants have not taken the role seriously and aimlessly failed to succeed in their weight loss journey. Some have been so poor that Dr. Now had to ban them from the show. Today, we are going to take a look at some people who have been banned from My 600-Pound Life. Be sure to watch this entire video, as you won't want to miss out on what we have today. Also, leave a like and subscribe to the channel to never miss an upload from us. Nicole Lewis. At just 23 years of age, Nicole Lewis already weighed an unbelievable 680 pounds. She claims she was way too big to even take care of her own kids, despite her efforts to try and lose weight. There was even a point where she was hosed down by her husband to bathe. That's how you know things were not going well. Although she tried, Nicole only got bigger. It was time to see Dr. Now. It had gotten to the point where she not only feared for her life, but feared for her kids growing up around her. When she first arrived on the show, Nicole had trouble walking around. She had to rely on her own mother and 2 kids in order to get anywhere. She was even too big to fit through the bathroom door in her house and had to use a portable toilet in her own room. But if that's not enough to motivate one to stop eating and gaining weight, she was caught eating a Big Mac and fries on her way to Houston to see Dr. Now. Dr. Now tried to tell her to stop and put Nicole on a very strict diet, hoping to help her lose 30 pounds for surgery. Well, Nicole definitely struggled. Amidst her and her husband's struggles to find a new job during her diet, the two resorted to eating cheeseburgers to help cope with their feelings. Well, things continued to go down here, and it's safe to say that this contestant did not try at all. James King. When he arrived on the show, James King weighed in at a whopping 790 pounds. At the time, he was actually the heaviest person to ever be featured on the show. He also had a severe case of cellulitis, a painful skin infection. Additionally, King's family had made some huge sacrifices for him, including his daughter dropping out of school to care for him, and his father refinancing his home to get him to Houston. Now, James was someone who was very delusional about his current state, and it didn't really help out that his wife supported this from James. In fact, his wife would bring James high-calorie foods that he requested while he was in the hospital with Dr. Now for his weight loss plan. He was sneaking the food in behind Dr. Now's back. While he was in the hospital, James kept gaining weight very fast. Instead of losing weight, King actually weighed in at 840 pounds. Dr. Now stepped in as he knew what was going on and even told James and his wife that he knew she was sneaking in food for him while James was in the hospital bed. Of course, James tried to play this off and even cussed out Dr. Now, stating that he had no idea why he was gaining so much weight. Eventually, Dr. Now told him to leave if he wasn't willing to adhere to the program. Well, in his follow-up episode, things had not improved. Just recently, about a month ago, James King unfortunately passed away, and while an exact cause of death wasn't revealed, King had a history of health issues, which may have contributed to his passing. And we can surely say that King's weight gains were not helpful in his case at all. While it's definitely a sad loss, we can't say that James was the nicest and most compromising guest on the show, as he was rude as could be. Penny Sager. Penny Sager appeared on My 600-Pound Life during Season 2, making her one of the show's OG patients. However, unlike some of her co-stars on the show, Penny failed to comply with Dr. Now's diet and exercise plans. When she was first introduced onto the show, she weighed in at an insane 570 pounds. Alongside her husband and son, Penny set out to try and find a new beginning. Sadly though, the only person who stopped Penny from achieving her goal was, well, Penny herself. Although she did manage to lose 40 pounds at the beginning of the episode during her time in the hospital, qualifying her for weight loss surgery, those pounds were gained back fairly quickly. In fact, she even managed to gain weight after the weight loss surgery. I guess she thought it was over once her weight loss surgery was complete, but for someone suffering from obesity, that just isn't the case. Penny continued to eat high-calorie foods and didn't even exercise like she was told. Her family is to blame as well, as they were enabling her to do all this. Schnee Murray. During her time in the hospital, the staff of My 600-Pound Life noticed that Schnee's husband, Freddie, was sneaking in burgers and pizza for her. However, once Dr. Now found out, he was not in a happy mood whatsoever. Dr. Now decided to confront the couple as he stormed into the room with all the evidence needed. But Schnee thought she was sneaky enough to get away with it all and blames Freddie for eating all the food. Well, Dr. Now snapped right back with words of truth. He reminds Schnee that she hadn't lost any weight since she started, and in fact has gained 50 pounds. He also states that he knows about the secret burgers being brought in despite her clever scheme of attempting to hide the evidence. SNUCK claims she has been eating healthy, which is hilarious, and at one point even tries to claim that she hadn't been eating anything at all. So how was she gaining all the weight? Well, Dr. Now saw right through her lies as SNUCK made things worse and worse. Let's just say she wasn't invited back to the show, and most definitely is on the ban list for ever appearing again. Holly Hager. Holly Hager, 38, admitted that she was addicted to food, lives to eat, and never wants to stop eating. During her first appointment with Dr. Now, she weighed in at 658 pounds. Dr. Now immediately warns her that her odds of failing weight loss are very high. This is especially due to the fact that she had already undergone weight loss surgery and failed. Dr. Now sets Holly's goal to lose 50 pounds over the next 60 days. He also wants her to start walking for at least an hour every day. Well, after her appointment, Holly was already worried and says that being told to give up all the food she loves is the same thing as Dr. Now telling her that he simply can't help her, which makes zero sense. Seems like an excuse to fail. In an episode, we see Holly chopping up lettuce for a salad, which is a good start. However, seconds later, it appears the salad is drained with dressing. By the time of her next appointment, Holly and her husband are already 2 days late, and she's only lost 29 pounds. To make matters worse, after Dr. Now gave Holly another chance, she is seen ordering delivery food. It's safe to say that this contestant just didn't cut it, and ultimately, she gave up. Angela Johns. Season 7 of TLC's My 600 Pound Life brought one of the most controversial stars to ever appear on the show. Angela Johns suffered from a tragic backstory involving abuse, substance addiction, and even time behind bars. As a result of multiple traumas, Johns turned to food, eventually weighing over 608 pounds. When she appeared on the show, not only was Angela Johns downright combative with Dr. Now, but she also claimed that he was punishing her. She also tested positive for opioid use and heavy cigarette smoking. Johns didn't go to rehab and tried to claim Dr. Now was lying about everything. Lisa Fleming. Lisa Fleming had one of the grossest, most interesting stories of My 600 Pound Life to this date. During Lisa Fleming's episode, her daughter discovered that there were literal maggots living in the folds of her skin. Lisa was weighing in at over 700 pounds at the time and could barely even move around. It seemed like the fact that maggots were living in her skin would be the wake-up call that got Fleming motivated enough to stick to the diet that Dr. Now had prescribed her. However, things just really did not go too well for Lisa. Although Fleming did lose some weight while under supervision, she gained the weight again once she was back at home. As the show continued on, Lisa's tactics of cheating on the diet and manipulation became apparent to the show's host, Dr. Now, and even the audience watching. Near the end of the episode, Dr. Now was clearly frustrated with Fleming's unwillingness to change and dismissed her from his program. Not a year after Fleming appeared on My 600 Pound Life, she passed away at her home at age 50. Definitely a sad ending, but we really hate to see people cheating on Dr. Now's advice because the consequences are pretty severe and probably had a factor in her passing away. Mercedes Cephas. Of all the stars of My 600 Pound Life, Mercedes Cephas' story is among the most heartbreaking. At just 11 years of age, Mercedes fell into a deep hole when her father started sexually abusing her. By the time she was 15 years old, she was up to 300 pounds and using food to help her deal with the trauma of her assaults. Obviously, this had a huge impact on her life. She was eager to lose some weight, but I guess her efforts and motivation just were not enough. When confronted about her eating habits by Dr. Now, Cephas insisted that she wasn't overeating. She said she just wasn't eating the right foods, even at 773 pounds. Well, Mercedes, you were either eating foods with ridiculous amounts of fat and calories, or you were overeating. Which one is it? Well, it turns out she was overeating, but didn't want to admit to it. When she finally did move to Houston months later, she had only dropped just under 50 pounds. Not only was she lying about her eating habits, but she also ended up gaining weight despite Dr. Now's diet. By the end of the episode, after she had only lost 80 pounds altogether, Dr. Now was adamant that she be admitted into the hospital, giving her 3 days to decide. At the end of the day, Mercedes clearly wasn't trying and wanted an easy way out.